In the pulsating heart of modern sports arenas, amidst the electrifying roars of fans and the palpable tension of competition, lies an ancient spirit. This spirit, encapsulated in the word Tifosi, transcends mere fandom. It represents an almost religious zeal, a fervor that binds individuals to a collective identity larger than themselves. The term Tifosi, primarily associated with ardent supporters of the Scuderia Ferrari in Formula One racing, can be likened to the English term superfan. However, its connotations run deeper, revealing a blend of passion, loyalty, and occasionally extreme behavior. The etymology of Tifosi itself provides a fascinating glimpse into this intensity. Derived from the ancient Greek typhos, meaning smoke, it evokes images of ancient spectators celebrating the victories of their favorite athletes by gathering around a bonfire. The rising plumes of smoke, a tribute to their collective joy and admiration, symbolized their united spirit and the ethereal bridge between the mortal realm and the divine. This connection to fire, an element both destructive and purifying, mirrors the dual nature of the fandom. On one hand, it's about unity, celebration, and reverence, and on the other, it can blaze into fierce rivalries and conflicts. But to truly understand the roots of such intense fandom, we must journey back in time, long before the revving engines of Formula One cars, before the medieval knights and their jousting tournaments, to the sun-baked arenas of ancient Greece. It was here, amidst the dust and the drama of chariot races, that the first echoes of the Tifosi spirit can be heard. But what is it about racing that has captivated the human psyche for millennia? Is it the heart-pounding speeds, the palpable danger, or something even more profound? At its core, racing encapsulates the human yearning to push boundaries. It's a celebration of human and animal synchronization, skill, and courage. The sheer physical sensation of speed, especially in a time without the technological marvels of today, was exhilarating. Every heartbeat synchronized with the thundering hooves. In ancient Greece, this allure was magnified by the societal context. Racing was not just an athletic endeavor, it was a tribute to the gods, a living narrative. Charioteers weren't just athletes, they were mortal beings touching the divine with their prowess, embodying the tales of heroes like Achilles or Hercules. Every race was a story, replete with triumphs, tragedies, heroes, and villains. Ancient Greece, with its rich variety of myths, heroes, and gods, was also the birthplace of organized sporting events. The Greeks didn't just compete for personal glory, they believed that their athletic prowess was a gift from the gods, and showcasing it was a form of divine tribute. As the poet Pindar proclaimed in one of his Olympic odes, "Water is best, and gold, like a blazing fire in the night, stands out supreme of all lordly wealth. But if, my heart, you wish to sing of contests, look no further for any star warmer than the sun, and let us not proclaim any contest greater than Olympia." Such sentiments reveal that these victories were not just personal, but divine affirmations of excellence. It was in this context that chariot racing emerged, not just as a sport, but as an event that blurred the lines between athletic competition, religious ritual, and societal spectacle. As this series will delve into the fans themselves, it must be noted that the voices of the common people from ancient Greece, especially those in the stands cheering for their favorite charioteers, are harder to capture directly. Yet their influence is felt in the grandeur of the events, the design of the stadiums, the accounts of the great races, and the societal impact of these competitions. Through a combination of primary sources, secondary analyses, and a touch of informed speculation, we can attempt to bring these ancient crowds to life and understand the origins of the fervor that still resonates in modern sports fandom. This series, therefore, is not just a retrospective on racing, but an exploration of human passion, a study of what drives us to gather, to cheer, to feel as one with the Tifosi of ages past. It is a journey to understand how the ancient spirit of racing fandom has continued to shape our collective experiences, binding us across time through our shared love for the spectacle, the speed, and the stories that emerge from the racetrack. The ancient Greek stadiums, large oval tracks surrounded by rising tiers, filled with eager spectators, were the epicenters of thrilling chariot races. These races were not just games. They were a reflection of society, a manifestation of human prowess, and an offering to the gods. Homer's Iliad captures the essence of such races, especially in the funeral games for Patroclus, where the unpredictability and the high stakes of chariot racing are vividly portrayed. Four-horse chariots, known as quadrigas, race at breakneck speeds around the tracks, often resulting in spectacular crashes. The charioteers stood on a small platform at the back of these vehicles, using their skills and strength to steer the horses, often pushing them to their limits. The slightest misjudgment could lead to a catastrophic tumble, endangering not just the charioteer, but also other competitors. Yet, it was precisely this element of danger that added to the race's allure. The risk, the unpredictability, the sheer speed of the chariots made each race a heart-stopping event. Every turn held potential drama, and every straightaway was an opportunity for charioteers to showcase their skill and courage. To win was to achieve glory, not just for oneself, but also for one's city-state, making the victors celebrated local heroes. As with any competitive sport, chariot racing gave rise to factions or organized supporter groups. These factions were not just passive observers, they were integral to the racing culture. With distinct colors representing different teams, they turned the stadium into a sea of vibrant hues, each faction cheering for its charioteer and horses. These factions had their own chants, rituals, and even superstitions. Before a race, it wasn't uncommon for supporters to offer prayers, conduct rituals, or even seek oracles' prophecies in hopes of favoring their team. The chants, rhythmic and resonant, added to the race's atmosphere, creating a soundscape that echoed the chariot's thundering wheels and the crowd's pulsating heartbeats. But factions were not just about support. They were about identity. Being part of a faction meant belonging to a community, sharing its highs and lows, its victories and defeats. Over time, these affiliations grew so strong that they spilled outside the stadium, influencing social interactions, trade, and even politics. In the realm of ancient Greece, the lines between sport, society, and statecraft were often blurred. Chariot races, while a thrilling spectacle on their own, became arenas where political ambitions, alliances, and rivalries played out. It wasn't just about the thrill of the race. It was about the power dynamics off the track. The factions, with their vast followings, became influential entities within the city-states. Herodotus, in his histories, often delves into the intricate interplay of public gatherings and political maneuverings in various city-states. Politicians, ever keen on securing the public's favor, saw the potential in aligning themselves with these popular factions. By sponsoring charioteers or associating with winning teams, they could bask in the reflected glory of the victors. Now, this alignment went beyond mere sponsorship. Politicians would attend races, making their presence felt among the factions they supported. In return, these factions would rally behind their political benefactors during elections or public debates, turning the tide of public opinion. Over time, the bond between certain factions and political houses became so intertwined that the fate of one could significantly impact the other. But where there's passionate support, there's also intense rivalry. Factions were fiercely competitive, not just in the context of the races, but in every aspect of societal interaction. Clashes between rival factions were not uncommon, turning streets into battlegrounds and festivals into flashpoints of conflict. These rivalries were not limited to physical altercations. They permeated every stratum of society, from trade embargoes between factions to marriages being arranged or dissolved based on affiliations. In some instances, faction rivalries influenced diplomatic decisions, with city-states leveraging the popularity and influence of their factions in negotiations with other states. Moreover, the intensity of these rivalries often became a tool for politicians. By stoking or pacifying factional conflicts, they could divert attention from pressing issues or rally support for their own agendas. Ancient Greece, with its pantheon of gods, heroes, and myths, was a civilization steeped in stories. As Plato emphasizes in his Republic, myths and narratives weren't just entertainment. They were foundational to shaping societal values, beliefs, and behaviors. Every aspect of life, from birth to death, was intertwined with tales that sought to explain, inspire, and guide. It's within this narrative-rich landscape that the fervor for chariot racing found fertile ground. The races were more than just competitions. They were living narratives. Every charioteer, every horse, every turn of the wheel became part of a larger story, of heroism, of ambition, of divine favor, and human endeavor. And just as the Greeks gathered to hear tales of Hercules' feats or Odysseus' voyages, they converged in stadiums to witness these racing sagas unfold in real time. This inherent love for stories, combined with the societal structures of the city-states and the deeply rooted religious beliefs, made ancient Greece a breeding ground for extreme racing fans. The races became a microcosm of life, reflecting the values, aspirations, conflicts, and dramas of the society at large. But as the sun set on the golden age of Greece, a new power was rising in the West. The Romans, with their vast empire and insatiable appetite for spectacle, were poised to inherit the legacy of Greek chariot racing. And while they would bring their own flavors, innovations, and scales to the sport, the core essence, the fervor, the passion, the heartbeat of the crowd would remain unchanged. As we say goodbye to the echoing chants of Greek stadiums and the dust-laden tracks of the charioteers, we set our sights on the grandeur of Rome. The Colosseum awaits, the roars are getting louder, and the legacy of the Tifosi is set to evolve in ways the ancient Greeks could have never imagined.